everyone, this is Kiddo, and I have the pleasure to introduce you to a very special project that is very dear to my heart. This channel is dedicated to combining Warhammer miniatures with pop culture characters, but today I want to dedicate a Warhammer miniature to a person that is very inspiring to me. She's amazing, she's hilarious, she has an amazing community. It is the one and only Miss Ironmouse! And guys, I'm super excited because I really want to do her justice, just like I did before with Asmongold.
Warhammer in the style of Asmongold? What? No. The scurvy blood? It wasn't scurvy? Oh my god. How is this fucking real? That's pretty good. I think so too. That's the thing, is it's actually really good. It is basically just like that. It was my sofa mattress. I had it on the floor. I don't think there's any blood on the mattress, but I could be... There is puke on it. Jesus, guys. Jesus. Uncannily accurate? I guess so.
Like, let's not talk about that, okay? So guys, I decided I want to paint Ironmouse as Synessa, the voice of Slaanesh, which is already a really beautiful model. Synessa, the voice of Slaanesh for the demon queen herself, Ironmouse. I think it's time to get cooking. Let's go! And here she is! Yay! What a beautiful model. I gotta say I like AOS models very much. I decided to assemble a mixture between Synessa and Synessa just because I like the look of it. And by the way, as we're talking about looks, I got my nails done and they turned out to be Ironmouse inspired. Yay! So you can see all the pieces that are lying on my crafting mat, and I'm going to assemble them later. I'm gonna paint them beforehand because it's gonna be way easier. Alright, so the miniature is primed. I decided to prime it in Chaos Black. And first things first, I got my new Harden Steenbeck Evolution. This is not a sponsored post, but I just got this airbrush recently. I made some tests with it and I'm pretty much satisfied so far. So we're just gonna see how the project is gonna turn out and yeah, how good this airbrush really is. All right, we're starting off with a Zenith highlight and I'm spraying AK Interactive white and I'm placing the airbrush above the miniature and I'm just spraying from above downwards onto the miniature, so it creates the so-called zenithal highlight. I'm going to do the same thing for the wings and the cloaks, but you will see in a second that I, change my mind as usual. But this is just how it goes, right? On this channel. We're just unfolding how I want to paint the miniature step by step, on the go, on the fly, guys. And we are starting to build up the colors. This first one is Army Painter Speed Paint's Peachy Flesh. This is going to be the base for everything we do. And I'm also spraying it just from above. So we are still working with the technique of the zenithal highlight that I just recently learned in a YouTube tutorial. So I had to try it out. And I gotta say it works pretty well because it's rather easy to do, even for a beginner like me. And you can create shadows and highlights without, a lot of fuss. So that's really cool. Maybe you have already noticed these little bastards here. I cannot find words for how sad I am that I didn't see that sprue is still connected to the jewelry. I was so excited to start this project that I didn't see that this is not part of the jewelry. This is literally sprue that I forgot to clip. At this point, I haven't realized it, that I forgot to clip the sprue here. But I'm going to, and you're gonna see how I react to it, so. But for now, ignorance is bliss, so we're just gonna continue with the project and happily airbrush away. For the second highlight, we are using Vallejo Light Flesh, and I'm only applying the paint on the areas that stand out a little bit more, so on the chest area and on the thigh area, the areas that will be touched by more light than the other areas. By the way, I apologize for the camera shake. I have no idea what's going on here. Maybe I was moving too much or hitting the table. I'm not really sure what happened here, so sorry for that, guys. After applying all the highlights, I'm going in with Army Painter Crusader Skin, which is a darker flesh tone, and I'm airbrushing from bottom to top to create even more shadows, to underline the shadows we have already created by the zenithal highlight. This is very hard to pronounce, by the way, for German. So you can see that the shadows and the highlights are basically coming together as we go. And I'm placing the darker skin color on the shins of the miniature and also airbrushing upwards to create a shadow on the six-pack of the miniature. She is ripped. And with this last shadow, we are done with airbrushing the body of the miniature. We're going over to the wings now, and we're going to use AK Interactive Intense Pink. And I'm going to aim for a good color transition here, and you will see that I'm going to switch my mind completely in a minute, but you know, this is just how we roll, guys. We're also going to use Intense Pink for the cloaks. And by the way, guys, I haven't said that before. You can see me in this video. I am wearing a mask all the time. I am safe, but my crafting mat is not, as you can see. And we're continuing with the color transition and using AK Interactive Blue Violet. So this is how the color transition looks at the moment, and I wasn't really happy with it. So I oversprayed the light flesh tone with a different color. For the tips of the wings, I'm going to use AK Interactive Old Rose. And I'm spraying it thoroughly all over the end of the wings. And I'm trying to create a color transition here. I'm trying to go from a very deep, dark pink color to a more faded out rose color. The pink was not pink enough. The pink was not pinking. So I switched to Army Painter Speed Paints and I used Moon Lake Coral to just add a little bit of depth onto the bottom of the wings to make it even more dark. And for the very last color transition, I've chosen Sky Gray by AK Interactive as well. I just thought that the gray would go very well with the pink or like rose tones, and I was trying to let the color fade out at the end of the wings. I didn't realize this before, but now that I see how much I shake my airbrush, like what am I doing? Is this normal? Like now I'm not really surprised that the camera is shaking so much. The airbrushing is done. That was the last part of airbrushing the miniature, and now we're going over to paint the model with a normal brush. Wet palette. This is how the model looks right now. This is our Ironmouse at the moment. The base colors are pretty much done, and I like the color transition so far. And now I'm using a normal brush to create a little bit more shadow on all the places that usually aren't touched by light. For example, under the armpits. And for that, I'm using Carabec Crimson by Citadel. And we cannot forget the six-pack, of course. And I'm using the same color to underline the shadows of the abdominal muscles. These super fine lines are actually one of my favorite things. It's really fun. I like edge highlighting as well. I know some people don't like edge highlighting, but I kind of dig it. I don't know why, but I have really bad eyesight, by the way. I have minus 8.5 diopters. I don't even know what I'm doing. Like I need these goggles. I'm also going to create the same shadows between the toes, claws. I'm using Carabec Crimson on the wings as well. And this is how the wings look at the moment. It's still a little bit chaotic. I'm going to clean up the lines in a little bit. But right now, I'm concentrating on all the details. And again, I'm using Carabec Crimson for all the details because it's a shade, it flows into the recesses, which is pretty cool. I also added an edge highlight of the same sky gray that I've used for the last color transition on the wings. Whoops. Nobody saw that. I know my brush looks hideous. I know that, and I am constantly ignoring this, okay? Another edge highlight is added over here at the end of the wings with the same sky gray by AK. Yay! And this is how the wings look like at the moment. Back again on the body of the miniature, we are now painting the horns, and I'm going in with a dark beige tone, and this is Dark Sand by AK. And I'm trying to build up a lighter color, and I just mixed white with dark sand and trying to go lighter and lighter from the bottom to the tip of the horn. I'm now going over to the hair, and I'm going to paint the hair in pink. I had a little bit of trouble to assemble the ponytail, and there is a pretty much big ugly gap between the left side of the ponytail and the right side of the ponytail. I don't really like it. I know that I should have filled the gap with some kind of stuff. I don't really know. I haven't done this before, so I was just, yeah, whatever. I'm just gonna leave it like that, and maybe it gets better at the end. You can be the judge of that if I did a good job. I was just ignoring this at this point because I was overwhelmed. I didn't know what to do. So I was just painting over it. I'm adding a shade Carapac Crimson again to create more shadows. I'm basically using the same colors as for the wings to create highlights on the ponytail. Yay! I think I used white at the tips of the ponytail, but I don't really remember. Very educational video. Okay, so now we're painting the jewelry, which I really love. I've been thinking about the technique of NMM, and I haven't done it before, and I just thought, yeah, maybe this is just a little bit too much of new things I have to learn for the video, so I just used Lead Belcher by Citadel, and I think it's a really nice color, and for now it's pretty cool. And maybe in the next couple of videos, maybe with my next miniatures, I'm going to try an NMM, and we will see how that looks. No promises, guys. And I added Lead Belcher on all the jewelry, and this, we're coming close to the point. Yeah, this is it. This is it. I realized, damn, I have left the sprue on the jewelry, and now obviously I airbrushed onto the sprue, like the pieces of the sprue, and now it doesn't look really good, but I'm gonna clean it up later. This is how the wings look at the moment, and I'm still happy with the color transition. You know, things can happen. We're not speaking of mistakes, we're just calling them happy little accidents, right? And for all the pink details, I'm using a very beautiful color that is pretty much impossible for me to pronounce. It's Fluorescent Magenta by Vallejo, and it's a really, really nice color that pops. And yeah, I've used it for all the jewelry in the horns and the details on the silver jewelry as well. And I'm also adding the same color to the details of the staff. And starting with highlighting the cloak. I was pretty much hesitating here because I didn't remember how to highlight the cloak and I wasn't sure where the light source is coming from. And then I was just like, yeah, whatever, I'm just going for it. So and I'm building up a color transition from deep purple to light pink. Bibbidi bobbidi boo. And here I am edge highlighting, which is my most favorite part. And this is the last part of the jewelry. I almost forgot it, but it pretty much covers a very special part of the miniature. So this piece of jewelry is very important. And I'm using lead belcher and the same color that I cannot pronounce by Vallejo. And now it's already time to assemble the parts. I was so excited for this because this miniature is really fragile. I mean, it looks really fragile. And it's basically standing on the cloak. Like the base is connected to the cloak. This is how the miniature seems to be levitating. And for the final touches, I'm adding the detail pink again. And now it's on to the basing. I 3D printed the base because I wanted a special size for the base. And I put some stones on it and painted them silver. I don't really know why, but I just thought it was more mysterious in a way. And I added AK Interactive Volcanic Earth to it. And as it has a very brownish tone, I also added a black paint to it, so it's a little bit darker. I added some basing bits that I 3D printed as well. And these are little crystals, I would say. And I dry brushed the base, of course, in different colors, for example, in like a light purple. And ta-da, this is the base. But that wasn't enough for me. I wanted more pink. So I got these flowers. They're by Gamus Grass, I think. And I had to print a booby. This is so cute, the little demon. Yeah, and I 3D printed Booby, and I also painted him in his demon form. And I wanted him to have the third eye open, to be his most chaotic self. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I really hope you liked the video, and if so, consider subscribing to the channel. I would really appreciate it. And as usual, it's Laura the Kiddo on Instagram. It's Laura the Kiddo on TikTok. And it's Laura Kiddo on Twitch.